Hello, and welcome to a sad story called Patience. Patience was meant to be a story of sadness, determination, and also bully. Yes, I determined this whole story, and I made this whole story for a dog, animated, so hope you enjoy. Let's get started. Patience, a bluish story. This was an idea of mine that I had, but now it's time to really tell you the whole story. Part 1. The Wait. It's day 1, and Blue is sitting outside on the sidewalk, her mom asking what is she doing again. She goes outside, her daughter says, I'm waiting for someone, or something. Her mom says, okay, and heads back inside. For day 2, nothing seemed to be going particularly wrong on day 2. She had a blanket, MP3 player, and other things too, including a small pallet that her mom gave her. In her mom's mind, someone mysteriously told her she cannot do anything to help her daughter. So she did all that she could before day 3. Day 3 eventually comes around. Again, nothing particularly bad happens, but now it's days 4 through 7. Bluey's mom looks outside and sees her daughter on the ground. She wishes she could do something, but she can't. All she knows is that she's waiting for someone. Her husband comes and says, what is she doing out there? And he tries to help her. Her wife pulls him back and says, no, you cannot help her now. It's too late. He steps back and walks away, looking out the window, wishing that she could do something. Clouds roll all over Australia, including Brisbane. She can help in that situation because, you can't have her daughter out in the rain. Her mom goes outside and puts a small coffee table under her. 2 weeks pass and her father is surprised. He says, I've never seen anybody stay out that long with that MP3 player. Still in shock, he decides to cook everyone breakfast. He gives Bluey some, too. She sits out there. She also made a pallet for herself. Bingo asked her dad and mom what are they doing. Her mom replies with, looking at your sister staying out so long. Bingo asked again, why? And her mom replies with, she's waiting. For what? I don't know. You'll just have to wait and see. Part 3. The Danger. She's getting particularly bored after being out there for quite a while. Although she has an MP3 player, I forgot to add an A there, so now it seems like it has an MP3 player. She finally decides to listen to some music. Some music on it, sorry. She likes the MP3 player. The next few weeks start to get bad. There's no one in her family that can help if she gets sick. Unfortunately, she does for the first time being out there. She was particularly weak and her mom coming out there one last time. She gives her a ukulele. She quite enjoys it. She doesn't know how to use it though. But then eventually she gets better at it. She gets worse and worse. Her sister is worried about her, so she decides to join her too. She walks outside and sees her sister outside laying on a pallet under a coffee table. Her sister asked, what are you doing? She responds in a quiet voice, playing the ukulele. She decides to get under the table too. Her sister coughing, Bingo asked, why are you coughing? And her sister replies with, I don't know. Part 4. The Illness. This is where things get worse. Bingo and her sister sitting outside under a coffee table. Bingo asked her sister, what are you waiting for? Her sister replies with, someone or something you shouldn't know. Being quite curious to what her sister was waiting for, her sister coughs again. She says, I'm getting weaker. Bingo asks again, with what? Her sister replies in a loud tone, I don't know. A few days pass by, and her sister is getting weaker and weaker by the day, to the point where she doesn't like getting up. Bingo was worried for her sister, wishing that she could do something. But now, she just says to sit there and watch, as her sister is in pain, sorry about the bad text. Another week goes by, and Bingo gets up and says good morning, to only hear his sister not respond. She gets up quickly and starts to see if her sister is still breathing. It seems like she has just passed out. Though. Part 5. Her mind. Bluey wakes up in this white room. She asked, "Where am I?" Little did she know that she was getting weaker and weaker by the day. She asked a voice. A voice responds with hello. She looks around herself. "Who are you and what are you?" she asked. "Why, it's me, your mind. I know that you're going through a lot of pain, but I can help." She says, "You can?" And her mind replies with, "Yes, I can help you stand up again." She gets excited and filled with joy. "I can finally stand up again rather than playing the ukulele." Then suddenly, the white room turns into a black hallway. She collapses on the ground, back weaker. She hears something running towards her. She tries to get away, but she can't. She eventually opens her eyes and comes back to reality, asking her sister, "What was that?" Her sister replies with, "I don't know. What did you experience?" And she said, "I just saw something." The next morning, she isn't unresponsive again. Part 6, manipulation. I should really change that to something else, but This is another dream. Bingo says, "I wish I could do something to help her, but it turns out she was just awake." Sister replies with, "What are you saying?" Bingo says, Nothing. She asked her sister, could she get the ukulele for her? She says, "I'm surprised that you can still play it." She continues playing her favorite song. The next day, her sister gets up, and this time Bluey isn't awake. She goes to her sister asking, "Are you awake?" realizing this is much more serious than just a small illness. Her sister gets even weaker. She feels like she can't move. Bluey says, "Please help me, sister. Please help me." Her sister, "I don't know what to do. I'm not a doctor at this point." Bluey says, "I don't know what to do anymore." She says, "I can't take this anymore, but I'm still determined to wait." Her sister says, "Tell me why you are waiting." She whispers, "For someone." Part 7. Near the end. Bluey, for the first time in her own 7-year life, says, "Put me out of my misery." Her sister replies with a no, and she hands her the ukulele. She still plays it and continues playing with it until night. The next morning, her sister is unresponsive again. She shrugs it off, as she's in another fever dream. She feels her sister, she's awfully cold. But she's not dead. August, November, and December come along. Bluey and her sister don't know what they're going to do for winter, at least for herself. Bingo can get supplies while herself she can't even move anymore, she says. "I don't know what to do." Oh, what is it? Sorry. What? I don't know what I'm going to do. "I have this blanket," Bingo says. Her sister replies with, "Wait, you had that on you this entire time." Bingo says, "Yeah, I'll never leave the house without my blanket." Her sister gets mad that she can't express it. Bingo's sister shivers. She says, "But it's not even that cold outside." It may be cold, not cold to her, but to her sister it's a lot colder. The next morning, her sister goes to Bluey and says, "Are you okay?" Her sister replies with, "No, I'm not. I see smoke." "But there's none." Her sister replies with, "Maybe it's just mental." Later in the day, her sister shivers again, this time fainting. Bingo quickly rushes to her sister and starts yelling, "Bluey, are you there?" "Yes, but not in the way you think." "I am. Sorry. Yes, but not in the way you think I am." She's tired, she tells her sister. She says, "Get some rest." She says, "Okay," and goes to sleep. The next morning, She sees her sister shivering again. See to her again. Okay, what? Hold on. Shivering again. See to her, whatever temperature it is outside, she says it's much colder. So, for instance, if it's, let's say at least 75 degrees, it's gonna be like at least 55 for her sister. To her. But Bingo says, but I've never seen you act this way. Well, just know it's because of the illness. Oh, her sister says. The next morning, Bluey is seen shivering again, which is a lot worse. Before, then goes, okay, what? The before, then goes says she's, Bingo said she's weak. Okay, Bluey says she's weak. She's very cold and doesn't respond. Oh, Bingo says she's very weak. She's very weak, cold. She's weak, cold, and shy. What? She doesn't respond. What could that mean? The very unfortunate end. Her sister says, can you please hand me the ukulele? Just know this is not the end of the story. Because, sure, I don't know how you're going to play it, though. She says, just watch. She plays her favorite song. She plays it. She says, it's the last time. The last time of what? Bingo says. I don't know. Bluey, she's been saying, I don't know for a whole year. Please just tell me why. I'll tell you when it ends. And she goes off to sleep. Next morning, her sister is unresponsive, but Bingo shrugs it off. She's just unresponsive like the last few months. Bingo says, Bluey says, can you please hand me the ukulele? She plays her favorite song again, and then the ukulele falls out of her hand. There it is, just singing, laying on her. Bingo says, are you okay? She says, no. This might be the end. Bingo cries, no, this must not be the end. Bluey says, I'm sick, weak, and shivering. Might as well. Then Bingo says, no, this is not the end. This might be the end of the wait. Bingo says, no, you must live on. I'm sure whoever you're waiting for will be very happy to see you. This is not the end. This one not. Okay, what? Be the end. Part 2. The end. Bluey was strange this morning. She didn't play the ukulele like usual. Like she usually would. She was much, much weaker than before. His sister says, are you okay? Bluey replies with, no. She says again, please put me out of my misery. Bingo replies with, no. Please stop saying that. It's never going to come. What's never going to come? You will never know. Bluey says the next morning, Bingo gets up. And she decides to play the violin. Her sister starts playing her ukulele too. Her sister says, I don't know if I can take much more of this. I'm weak already, Bingo says. No, but Bluey quickly cuts her off, saying, fine. If you won't do it, then I will. Part 10. Determination. Bluey really thinks that the illness is getting to her sister. She plays the violin again. That was supposed to be play, but I'll change it later. The violin again, hoping that this calms her down. Her sister gets stressed all of a sudden. Bluey starts tearing up, as it was still cold on her own body. Bingo says, Bluey, please. Please what? What do you want me to do, Bingo? I cannot handle any more of this. Bingo says, yes, you can. The next morning, Bingo starts to get weak too, but not as weak as Bluey. She's still determined to wait for the someone or something. Bluey doesn't wake up. She checks her sister. She doesn't breathe. She checks her heart. It's still beating. She had a ukulele in her hands, just like she did a few days ago. Bingo decides to play the violin in a much sadder tone and sits by her sister, hoping that something will heal her eventually. For now, We may never know what she has been through with her sickness. Chapter 11 coming soon. Chapter 11, Sadness. This morning, Bluey told me that this won't be easy, Bingo, but we will get through this. Eventually, that was a little we will get through this eventually. This was a little inspiring to me. At night, though, I heard a noise, but I ignored it. The next morning, my sister didn't wake up again. I shrugged it off like the last time. Bluey played the ukulele again, saying, I might die, Bingo. Said, no, you aren't. You were going to make it through this, Bluey. Please. Bluey says, although I'm still determined, my body isn't. This isn't easy on the both of us. My body is breaking down. Nobody here except you to help me. I just wanted you to know then. Bluey closes her eyes again. Bingo looks back, knowing her sister is even more than this. They both stay determined to wait. Chapter 12, Stand. My sister told me she's going to try and stand. Bingo quickly said no, but Bluey was still determined to stand. The first attempt didn't go so well. Bluey collapsed on the ground, and Bingo had to pick her back up. Attempt 2 was not the worst, but it was a little better. Sitting up for a little longer, but then she collapsed again. Attempt after attempt after attempt. She stood up once. They got better until she stood up once. Oh my god. Once this attempt didn't go in the way they intended, Bluey collapsed on the ground as she closed her eyes, fainting. Bingo said, I knew this would eventually happen, but she didn't know when. She put her back in bed, waiting for her to wake up. She eventually wakes up and says, I messed up in the worst way imaginable. Bluey says, how? You'll see. Bluey replies. The next day comes and nothing seems to be better. Her sister still determined, but my body isn't. Bingo doesn't wake up. Bluey says the best she can. Bingo, are you there? Bingo says yes. I'm going to help you. Bluey says, I've heard that before in my mind. Chapter 14 coming soon. Chapter 14, Bittersweet End. Bingo wakes up and sees that Bluey is unresponsive, sure getting that off. Then she sees her sister as an angel. She says, my misery is over, my pain and suffering is over, and now I will be with God. Bingo starts tearing up. So this is the end, Bluey says, no, we will eventually meet in heaven, and we will be an angel too. Bingo sees a white glow on her feet. Says, what's that? Bluey replies, says, the angelic process. Bingo becomes an angel almost in heaven with all the other family members of her past and present. The end. The story was meant to be truly sad because sadness is different than putting heart emojis over someone. It's an emotion that somebody can express. Patience. A true sad story.